Hey everyone, it's Nick with Us versus Herd. If it's your first time here, like the content, hit subscribe. If you want to get notifications when we go live, tap the bell. And if you want to join the UVH fam, our community, links are below in the description to our Discord, along with our options trading group on Facebook. If you're here right now, say what up. What's going on, Keith, Jeff? Morning. We have the S&P's up 9 and Dow's up 92, NASDAQ is up 42. So we're up again. Lion, Edwin, what's going on? You guys are doing well. Guy, what's up? What's going on? Looks like SPY hit 332 and just decided to fall back down a little bit, but moving back up. David, and I wonder if we're ever going to get tired of the green mornings. You know? Yeah, Edwin, I have a position on Shaq already. Currently looking at. I'm currently up 22% on this position, small position. So currently in on Shaq. But there's a couple things out this morning to be mindful of. Come on. All right. The screen just got all jacked up. Okay. Using U.S. housing starts soar 16.9%, 13-year high. I know what the expected was like 1.3 million. They posted 1.6 million. Streaming from my iPad in the kitchen while I do some dishes before market. What up? What up? So they're up from 1.3 million to 1.6 million new housing starts here. So that is a good sign for, when I think about that, you don't want to get into like Home Depot, Lowe's, those kind of stocks. I prefer Home Depot personally, but that's because I'm suburban basic, I'm a basic suburban dad, So U.S. housing starts are up. Kelly, what's going on? If you're just joining, say what up. One thing that we also have to be mindful of is probably, I don't know if it's going to hurt my position right now. Right now, it's not doing anything to Boeing. Boeing's at 332, basically where it closed at. But they're saying Wall Street expects Boeing to take another big hit. Charge on 737 MAX. Bank of America. It's getting really annoying. Bank of America estimates total cost of $20 billion, as high as $20 billion. So not saying that the low end is based on the production shutdown, layoffs, and scathing emails. So, that's not so good. That's not so good for Boeing coming up. They also have their earnings on January 29th. So the question is, are people going to bail before earnings, or are they going to buy before earnings? Because right now we're at 52-week lows, kind of just chilling down there. I think this is a tough. I think Boeing. What do you guys think? I think this is a tough call for Boeing. I'm currently in the 332.50 calls for next week. Currently down a little bit. So I'm gonna try to see if I can exit my position today. If we can spike back up to 334, 335, I'm gonna be looking to get out of my position on Boeing. So other than that, kind of a slow news morning. We're just moving on up, just to move on up. One thing that I do want to be mindful of here, like I said, I'm going to be trying to exit my Roku position. I'm up 9%. I have the 129 calls for next week, and what I'm going to try to do is I want to exit before the end of day today, because Netflix. Well, I guess I can let it ride into Tuesday, because Netflix, they have earnings after the close on Tuesday. Keep in mind, market is closed Monday. Okay, just keep that in mind when planning your trades. If you plan trades and you think the market's going to be open, it's not. You're losing a day next week. So be mindful. So I'm going to be trying to get out of my Roku position. Right now, it's up like 30 cents after hours, pre-market, I guess. Not really doing a whole lot, but we'll see what happens. Netflix actually is the one that lost a little bit of money yesterday on. Just took too long to come back up, and I think it will. Why am I getting screwed? I don't understand why you think I'm getting screwed. Everything's under control. No one said anything about trying to beat the market. We're just trying to make good trades, you know? That's all. One at a time. Take it one at a time. If you're looking at my trades here, this BBBY one is leftovers. I've already taken my profits from here. These are just worthless garbage from an earnings trade. Boeing down a little bit, like I said. Currently down on soybeans, but I think that's going to come around. I do have a lot of time on that. Got 35 days, so not too worried. If you have losers in your account, that's okay. That means you took your profits on the ones that you know. That means you took your profits. And starting fresh is good, you know. So Netflix, they have earnings after close. The expected move right now is, I was actually pretty shocked. The expected move is only the expected move is only $25 for next week. So it's showing a range of 315 on the low end and 362 on the high end, which if you bring it on the chart here would bring it down to just here or right here, which I think that it's underestimating the expected move for Netflix, which in my opinion I'm not going to be selling premium there. So like when for me, my style of trading is that if I think it's underestimating the move, if I think it's going to move more or has the potential, it may not even move at all, but if it has the potential to move more than what I believe, then I'm not going to sell. I'm not going to risk selling premium, even at like a 1 standard deviation, like Iron Condor like this. You know, I'm not even going to risk that. I'm just going to. The best thing for Netflix is, and I also don't Iron Condor it anymore. You know, as you can see, it gets a little crazy. I mean, if you Iron Condor this, you'd be in big trouble. You know, I learned maybe like 4 or 5 years ago. I put a Iron Condor on Netflix and instantly lost $1,500. So ever since then, I haven't Iron Condored Netflix. I'm still scarred from that. You know. So, anyone here trading Netflix for earnings or thinking of trading Netflix for earnings? If you're here right now, say what up. If you guys could do me the favor, hit the like button. Really helps me out. So my best trades on Netflix come after earnings. So that is what I intend to do. Other trades, like looking into Tuesday as well. You know, McDonald's has earnings on Tuesday. Netflix, UPS, Snap, IBM. So McDonald's is, if we look at McDonald's, when is this? Is it after close or before close? McDonald's is, oh, they moved to the 29th. So McDonald's is not. McDonald's is the 29th now. Let's see here. UPS, they're the 30th. So they moved. Snap, they're not till February 4th. Okay, so it looks like the earnings calendar has to be a little updated here. But Netflix is for sure on Tuesday. But that's going to be starting to kick off all the tech earnings. Let's see what Boeing is doing right now. Yeah, Boeing has just been, if you look here, Boeing has just been sitting at the bottom right here, and it's popped a few times. I'm hoping for another pop to like 335, 340 area, but it hasn't happened the last few days. We'll see, and then we'll see what this Bank of America news happens. But the interesting thing with Boeing is they keep hitting with bad news after bad news after bad news, and Boeing just is holding on. It hasn't really fallen below, 330 has been a strong base. And the times it did fall below was like 320, 323, 326. Got bought up real quick. Only lasted one day, not even one day. So, what stocks do you guys want to look at here? I know LK is still moving up. I don't know how to justify this. The one thing that I don't like to do is just randomly buying dips, just randomly saying, oh, I'm going to buy this dip, buy that dip. Like, that's all you had to do on LK is just keep buying the dips, but that's not really a strategy, and sooner than later, right now it's working just because the market is so bullish and moving on up, but eventually that luck is going to run out. There's a lot of traders right now that are, and this happened in like 2018 as well. 2018, if you guys remember, 2017, 2018. There were a lot of traders here that, I don't mean to bag on you guys, but it's just being realistic here. There's a lot of traders that just kept buying the dip, kept making money, and then when things got hard, and that strategy was no longer working, they lost all their money, and then they gave up. They said, "Oh, trading's not for me. I can't do this. I'm out." And if you're gonna give up that easily, buying the dip is not a strategy for winning. You have to have different strategies to deploy in different market conditions. You can't just keep buying the dip. Right now you can, but eventually that strategy is not going to work out. Right now you can just buy calls naked and ride them out for a week and you'll be fine. But that's not going to work. That's not going to work forever. You guys agree or not? It's awfully quiet in the chat this morning. Just here rambling. But it's just frustrating. I guess it's just frustrating from my perspective, seeing people with a lot of potential making good money and then giving up because they're not willing to shift strategies. They're not willing to put in the work. They get lazy. And they just think the one strategy is going to work forever. The one strategy is not going to work forever. It's going to end. I'm here to check out SPY and anything you think should look good for the weekend. SPY, the trend is intact. There's not really a whole lot to talk about here. We have zero catalysts to bring us down currently. Bank earnings were really good. We got to see what the big guys are doing. Amazon, Apple, Google, because now the S&Ps are weighted heavier on the tech sector. So we want to see what the big boys are going to do this quarter. I'm guessing Apple's probably going to have a good quarter. Amazon's probably going to have a good quarter coming off of the holidays. Google, I'm not sure about Google. They've been having some trouble. Not with their stock, but they've been having some trouble with the government. So they're having trouble with ads and kids and those kind of things, and showing things on YouTube. And they've been struggling in the ad department for, I want to say, a good year. So I don't know what that impact is going to have, but they just recently changed the policy on YouTube. Like, I have to set my videos are not made for kids, but if you're a content creator and your videos were made for kids, you have to specify that your videos are made towards kids, and they're actually removing advertising and stuff like that. So those people that are making videos for kids are not going to get paid anything or as nearly as much as they were in the past. So whatever that kid was that was making, $20 million a year, he's going to get his earnings cut big. It was like some 7-year-old kid, #1 YouTube earner. And that's probably why there was so much exposure on that kid that's probably what got the government involved, because Forbes was writing about, hey, the #1 YouTube earner is a 7-year-old who makes videos about toys, right? And he was making like $20 million a year, or 15 million. I don't know, it doesn't matter at that point. You're making over $10 million a year on YouTube. You're doing something. You're doing something right. However, his earnings are going to get cut down, which leads to me to believe, like, what does that mean? I know there's a lot of other videos, but kids watching YouTube was a big percentage of the traffic here. So I don't know what that means in terms of the bottom line for those ads. We know people, the Jason Bonds and all those guys are still paying for ads. So YouTube's still getting theirs, but I don't know what that means. And I want to say, like, the amount of money like Mattel and those kind of people are paying for ads is probably a lot lower than financial services and other things that don't involve kids. But it'll be interesting to see what they say. But yeah, that sucks for people that have a YouTube channel geared towards kids. But I guess it makes sense because you want to keep kids safe, I agree wholeheartedly that you want to keep kids safe, but that's also why you, like, as a business owner, like if you have a YouTube channel or you have something and it's just relied on one platform like YouTube, just understand that YouTube can change and that could be easily taken away. Was it like 2 years ago? YouTube changed the threshold for you to be able to monetize your channel. The threshold moved up to, you needed a minimum of 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 hours of watch time within a 12-month period. And immediately, a bunch of YouTube channels lost their ability to make money from YouTube. Just like that. Just because one policy changed, then they had to grind, get back up on, and some may have never been able to be monetized again, depending on your channel. So, that's why you don't want to just, like, as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, you don't want to put all your eggs in one basket, Speaking of Morgan Stanley, let's see what they're doing right now. They were up almost 8%. They're holding right now. I don't know if there's gonna be a little pullback on Morgan Stanley right now, but it's kind of crazy. Right now we're looking at a multi-year high here. They were riding low for most of the 2019. They're riding the lows really nice, around 40. Back in 2017, they hit a high of 59. It's just been a complete downtrend. So, yo, Car Idec, my name is not John. I've told you before. I don't know if you're trolling me, or I think you're trolling me. I think people try to troll. Alibaba, Michelle, yeah. So Alibaba, I think, is interesting to me if it can come back down to like the 210, 215 area. I don't know if it's going to happen, though. I don't know if it's going to happen. I mean, I believe Alibaba is pretty undervalued, but they do have earnings January 20th. I do think it's going to run. Now that we got the China phase 1 deal out of the way, I think the Chinese stocks are going to start to run. If we look at Alibaba, JD, yeah, these all look the same. Baidu probably has, I think Baidu has the best looking chart for me, for instance. I mean, I definitely think, I don't know if it can return up to like 190 area, but I think it has the best range for my trading style right here. Baidu, FXI, if you guys trade some ETFs, FXI, this has been pushing higher as well since the trade deal, but you have to be mindful of when trading FXI, China's economy, which they're saying is at a 30-year low of growth right now. So that's the thing. Right now, I'm kind of sick of Chinese stocks, so I'm kind of staying away right now. IBM. IBM is usually pretty good for earnings. I mean, this was actually a pretty big $10 move. They're expected for earnings. Let's see here, January. So they're on Tuesday as well. $6 move expected right now. Space. Yeah, I feel like Space is one of those stocks. I don't know. They have like 5 employees, and I think it's one of those stocks that you just, if you have the money, you just buy and forget about for 10 years. I think that's all you can do in terms of trading it. I mean, I don't like trading like penny stock ish things, and this is exactly what this is kind of turned into. Now I know it's $16, but the way the chart is, if you've traded penny stocks before, this is very penny stock land here. But I mean, I believe that in the future of space and what Virgin is doing, and Jeff Bezos and Elon, I do believe that that's going to be a bigger piece. I don't know about commercialism in terms of getting people. I mean, they want to put people on the moon and stuff like that. I don't think there's going to be a wide appeal because, like, for me, for instance, like if you're thinking about, okay, we're going to take a trip. Right now, if you want to take a trip to the moon, what's there? There's like rocks and dust and stuff, like what do you... It doesn't really have that much of appeal to me to visit another planet unless there was some sort of attraction there. And at the moon or beyond that, if you want to go to Mars, I mean, I'm not looking for... If you want to do a survival trip, I mean, you can scale the mountains in America here with just a knife and a lighter, if you're looking for a survival trip. But I think that what SpaceX and all those doing, they're doing a lot of government missions, satellites, launching satellites into orbit, launching things for private companies, satellites for Facebook, Amazon, those kind of things. Government monitoring. So there's a lot of government contracts to be had. Kind of like, Boeing has government contracts to develop planes for war. They have contracts to launch satellites for the U.S. government and those kind of things. The attraction is the moon. I mean, it's a bunch of rocks and dust there. I mean, who wants to... What are you going to do? What are you going to do when you get there? Like, this is great. Jump around. That's what those guys did. They walked around, got back in their ship, and came back home. David, UNH. Yeah, healthcare. United Healthcare is just booming here. If it breaks through right here, let's see, what is it at right now, pre-market? So it's above. So if we go 302, I mean, this is gonna get pretty crazy. A multi-year high here, nice. Or did they? Yeah, I mean, the tinfoil hat people said that they just did it like they went to the moon in a Hollywood studio and faked it. Who knows? But if you can go to the moon now, I guess it doesn't really matter what they did in the 60s, right? Pins, yeah, pins right now is pretty interesting. Where is it? Is it up this morning? It's at 24. Wow. So it's right here. So I want to say I kind of missed out because should have put a trade on when it broke 21, and now it's 24. So for me, I'm gonna now that that's happened, I'm gonna be patient and wait for what happens at 26. I'm not gonna try to ride because I don't like to try to ride like a $2 move. I know that's like 10% for the stock. I mean, depending on what premium it is, IB is really high right now. Premium that's actually not too bad. Actually pretty cheap. Because I mean, yeah, if you get so these 24.5 calls right now going for 65 cents, delta of 43. If it goes up a buck, you're going to be making 80% guaranteed. So it's actually not a bad play. Maybe just buy the dip. If Pins gets a little bit of a dip, buy that and see if we can push up to the 26. That's actually good. That's actually not a bad ratio there on the delta there for those. And if you go out to like 14 days out, pretty decent. Pretty decent. Goes up a buck, make 43 out of your 60 cents. I mean, yeah, you're making 80% or so. If you're here right now, say what up. Good morning. Market opens in 5 minutes. Yeah, I'm in Shack right now currently. I have a 70 call and I'm short the 75 call, so I have a debit spread right now. Paid $1.50 for it. Max profit's $3.50. So I'm chilling on Shack. I got till February 7th, so I'm just hanging out. I can withstand the ups and the downs here. You know, yesterday we ripped down, but it came back up, and I'm up 22% right now. So see what happens. Boeing's not dropping on that news, so we'll see. Yo, Aaron, let's make this Friday our mistress. Make some moon angels. AT&T. I don't really trade AT&T just because it's a slow mover. Do have some AT&T stock currently, but that's about it. Pays a dividend, so it's a good dividend stock. Slow mover though, slow mover. I mean, it has moved pretty big in the last week on the down move here. Came back to base. I mean, yeah, I do agree with you with the 38.5 call. I would probably buy, like for me, I would probably prefer the 38 call, be in the money with a higher delta, but to each their own, you know. Let's look at, yeah, I think I would rather buy this 38 call with the 50 cent delta versus the 38.5, cost 50 cents for 40 cent delta, which is pretty high delta, but I think some good open interest. That's actually a pretty good idea. I do like this setup here. Bouncing off the 38, back up to 39 with a 50 cent delta. That's actually pretty good. Take your profits on Apple, Daniel. Tesla, the other Daniel Edwards. Tesla. So Tesla, I'm not trading until earnings. After earnings, I mean. So earnings January 29th. I'm not looking to trade Tesla because I feel like once the numbers comes out, we're going to have a really good overview of where the stock should be. Unless they have like a major blowout quarter and this goes to 1,000, which I mean it could happen. I mean, the only thing about Tesla, you have to be mindful. They've literally been the same stock price, or they were in the same range for a good 2 years. For a good 2 years here, we were just trading. Let's say the means was about 300. It was about 300 for a good 2 years, and then they were just having bad news after bad news after bad news and bad quarter after bad quarter. The thing is, the one thing that I really don't like is Tesla has a high probability of missing, based on past earnings. They have a high probability of missing their targets. So knowing that, like if you look at track record, so like when you're selling premium or buying premium, it doesn't really matter. You want to look at their track records over the last few quarters, last 10 quarters, last 12 quarters, and see like how many they made, how many they met, how many they beat, how many they missed. And if you look at it, you know, would you be more confident trading like an Amazon into earnings versus a Tesla into earnings? Apple, not Amazon. Apple into earnings versus a Tesla. I would much rather take the Apple because they've had a lot more consecutive quarters where they beat, versus Tesla's been very spotty. We were getting a lot of excuses in the past. Oh, we missed a little bit of production because there was a fire in the warehouse. Oh, we missed this, we missed that, we missed this. And I get it. Like for Elon and Tesla, they were building their factories. There's a lot of unknowns. They're doing things that nobody's ever done before. They have so much automation in their factories. And it's difficult to do something brand new like that, you know, start from scratch. But at the same time, I don't know if, you know, the catalyst last quarter obviously was earnings. they beat the expectations, they smashed it, and I don't know if that warrants a 250 to 550 move. It depends. For me, it depends on. So I've been staying clear because, now you have the gurus on CNBC saying like, oh yeah, this can go to 6,000 in the next 5 years. I mean, I don't doubt that it can't go to 6,000. I just want to see some data after the last quarter. Yes, they beat, but they've beat quarters before, and then they lost the next 3 quarters after that. So like for me, I'm not. I'm a little skeptical. Is all. And then you can rewind this tape when they beat earnings and they go to 1,000, and you say that I'm an idiot, and I'll fully fess up. This is a recording. You can pull it up at any time. Looks like the market just opened. TLT calls that the market gets a pullback. Yo, Mateus. Yeah, HD. Yeah, HT. I'd like to see a little bit of pullback though. But it's looking like it wants to hit up to like 235 area, 240 again. With strong housing, it's gonna move up. Yeah, Aaron, Tesla burned me so bad. It's terrible. Amazon, bro, Wall Street. Amazon, real quick. Let's see what we got going on here. Amazon's up $5 right now. It did come back down to like the 1850 range, which I was thinking it was gonna have. I haven't played it though. They have earnings January 29th, so could have definitely should have played this 1850 bounce here. Came down to 1852. I think people were thinking. I was thinking that it was going to kind of bounce off previous resistance, and that's what it happened. I probably should have traded that. Looks like things are moving down a little bit. SPY's moving down a little bit. Boeing's moving down a little bit. Roku's moving down a little bit. Shake Shack is up a tad. So we'll see what happens. Little shakeout happening right now. So we'll see what happens if people are taking profits or what they plan to do for the weekend. We do have a long weekend ahead. It's not really moving very fast. Tobin, Alibaba. Alibaba's not doing anything. It gapped up $2 though. Stuck. Roku. Woo. How many monitors do I have? I have 5. For me, if I'm profitable, like let's say I bought Alibaba down here at like 200 and it's up to 226, 230, I'm taking my, if you have short-term stock or holds, locking in a 25%, 30% tax stock gain is actually not a bad deal. What's the advantage of having more monitors? I mainly just use monitored because sometimes, so I have like on my main monitor here, these are the stocks that I'm actively trading right now, like on my main monitor here, but I don't necessarily trade off of them. I like to have other stocks up that are high on my watch list here, so that way I can see some movement just out of the corner of my eye. Not that I'm necessarily trading them that day, but sometimes you'll catch moves like, oh, this stock really dropped. Go see what happened, and maybe it's a buy the dip opportunity. So you can just see more stuff. I mean, it's not, if you're comfortable with what you're doing. If you're not, then change it up. But all right, yeah, Alibaba's moving back up. Stocks are moving back up. Anyways, guys, been a good stream. Hit the like button if you could. Appreciate it. As always, stay safe, stay green. It's us versus herd.